How's it going, 3D printers? Andrew Sink here, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the T22 Pro by Think3D. The T22 Pro is a very interesting machine that has a bed leveling system that I'd never seen before, and I'm guessing you probably haven't either. It's a really unique printer in how it operates, and in this video, we're going to dive into what exactly makes this printer so special. The T22 Pro ships with a lot of features that are typically found as an upgrade to your standard Ender 3. In addition to the TMC2208 silent stepper drivers, the T22 Pro also uses a 32-bit board with color touchscreen, dual Z lead screws, and a Meanwell power supply. The unboxing of the T22 Pro was pretty standard and about what you'd expect from an Ender 3 style printer. One thing that's worth noting, this printer shipped with a ton of filament. It came with 4 full spools and 1 half spool, so the box was really heavy. In fact, before I opened it, I was actually kind of curious why this thing weighed so much. The T22 Pro is advertised as a DIY printer, but I wouldn't let that scare you off if you're a little bit concerned about building your own machine. It arrives in 2 main parts, the Z frame and the base, and it's really pretty easy to install. There's just a couple of bolts to hold the frame together, and then you have to go through and connect both the Z motors as well as the Z sensor. There's no soldering, drilling, or crimping electrical terminals, and the entire assembly process can be comfortably finished in about an hour. Unlike a typical Ender 3, the power supply for the T22 Pro is located underneath the frame, and there's a small cover so your fingers won't touch any of the terminals, and the wiring is actually really well laid out, so it's hidden inside the printer so it doesn't just dangle loose. After installing the touchscreen, I noticed this small black box, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out what it was. After I started the printer, it became pretty clear. It's a speaker that plays music anytime you touch the screen or do anything, but luckily it can be muted. The top of the power supply is exposed on the back of the printer, and Think3D actually shipped a small plastic cover which snaps right on top and screws down, so the power supply is completely isolated during printing. It's kind of a small thing, but I think it goes a long way towards making the printer feel a lot safer to use. The Z end stop is an optical sensor that has a printed cover that slides down over the terminal to prevent any light from leaking in. The extruder is a clone of the E3D Titan, and it uses a tiny little piece of PTFE tubing to connect to a standard Creality style hot end. I also noticed the heat block had a silicone sock on it, which is just kind of a nice touch on a machine at this price range. The T22 Pro prints on a sheet of glass. The sheet of glass is a magnetic mat on the back and then a textured surface on the front which the parts adhere to. When the bed is heated, the parts stick very well to the surface, but as the bed cools, the part will pop right off. Because it's magnetic, all you have to do is line the mat up, and it clicks right into place. The printing platform moves back and forth smoothly on the Y-axis with no visible play during the printing process. In addition, Think3D added a 3D printed strain relief to the wiring harness that connects to the heated bed, which is just a nice added extra. Let's talk about the bed leveling system on this printer. This printer is advertised as having a leveling-free system, but when I looked at the hot end, I noticed there's no sensors, probes, or really any extra wiring that would indicate any leveling was done from the head. Underneath the printer, there's no adjustments available on the 4 corners of the bed where you would typically find a thumb screw, just 4 machined blocks and a couple of little metal posts. I was really curious what these were. I knew I'd seen them before, but they seemed out of context on a 3D printer and I just couldn't put my finger on it. I looked on Think3D's site trying to find some more information, and I found a few diagrams as well as pictures from an initial engineering validation test, and it finally clicked where I had seen these before. These are strain gauges. A strain gauge works by converting applied force into an electrical signal. This electrical signal can usually be calculated with multiple strain gauges in a load cell configuration. The T22 Pro uses these 4 strain gauges first to set a Z0 offset for the printer, and then to go and measure 9 individual points on the bed. During this process, the printer prompts you not to touch the bed, and this is because it's actively taking measurements from those strain gauges. This is a really clever load cell implementation, and as far as I know, it's the only desktop 3D printer that's implemented this style of leveling. The biggest issue that jumped out at me is that the nozzle is actually making contact with the glass bed at each point, so it leaves these small spikes of material everywhere it touches the glass. I did find a few ways to mitigate that, and we'll dive into those a little bit later. What's really interesting about this system is Think3D claims to have an exclusive patent on this style of technology, and as far as I know, they very well may. I've never seen this before, and it's totally logical to assume other printer manufacturers could implement this style of leveling. They also refer to it as an induction sensor, and I don't think that's accurate, and I'm not sure if they put that there to throw other companies off, or if it's just confusion around the terminology. Now that we've looked at some of the technical specs of the printer, let's try one of the pre-sliced files that came on the SD card. For my first test, I tried the lizard.gcode file that came on the SD card, and I've got a lot of thoughts about this. Right off the bat, the print quality was pretty low, and I noticed a lot of retraction-related stringing, and the model itself just didn't look right, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. The head of the model was all the way at the edge of the build tray, and it stopped pretty abruptly. I thought it almost looked like it was cut off, so I opened the G-code in a G-code viewer to see what was going on. If you look at the G-code for the lizard, you'll notice that the head is a lot longer than the printed model, but I couldn't figure out why it didn't print the entire head until I looked at the G-code movement. The Prusa Slicer G-code viewer will allow you to see the X, Y, and Z coordinates of the toolpath at any given moment. So what I noticed was it's actually outside the bounds of the printer. The printer only goes up to 220 millimeters, which is this line here, but the toolpath calls for 235. To somebody just starting out, this could be a really frustrating experience as they won't be able to identify the difference between a software and a hardware problem. I'm a really big advocate of 3D printing manufacturers including small, fast, and easy to print parts as pre-sliced files to give users a first success when they unbox the machine instead of a frustrating experience where they have to track down errors. I use Prusa Slicer for most of my printers, so I built a profile for the T22 Pro in Prusa Slicer using some settings that I've found typically give really good results for most Ender 3 style printers. I'm printing out a model of the Mandalorian from MyMiniFactory designed by ICZFIRZ because it has a lot of detail and it's got some fine features that make it an ideal print for a test. You can see the spikes on the bed that were left over from the leveling process where the nozzle touches the bed after heating. I added a single line of G-code that does a 7mm retraction after heating but before leveling, which seemed to get rid of a lot of these spikes, but you will see them present in this model. I printed this model using the Think3D gray filament that came with the printer, and overall I was pretty impressed with the quality. There was a little bit of stringing, which might have been due to retraction or wet filament, but generally speaking, after a quick hit with a heat gun, most of that stringing disappeared and I was left with a really good looking model. Considering this was a first go using a custom-made profile in Prusa Slicer, the model came out with a high level of detail and there weren't really any major issues that I saw. There's always room for improvement, and I'm sure I'll be adding updates to the slicer settings as I continue to use the printer. There are a couple of question marks that need to be addressed before the T22 will really catch on as a consumer printer. The first one is the firmware. I'm not sure what firmware the T22 Pro is using, and if I go to Think3D's site, there's no option to download one, so I'm not sure if a firmware update will become available. This is something that's pretty important for widespread adoption. An easily accessible and modifiable firmware will ensure that users are able to get the most out of the machine for their particular application. This machine doesn't really have a solid portable profile that can be taken from one slicer to another. It ships with a few different versions of Cura on a thumb drive and one basic .ini file to get everything set up. I wound up completely ignoring the Cura profile for this printer and went straight to Prusa Slicer and developed a profile that works very well for that slicer. I think for this machine to catch on, a little bit more robust documentation of best practices for slicer settings would probably be really helpful just to get some of the early adopters past that initial phase of, is there something wrong with the printer or is there something wrong with my software? Overall, I'm really impressed with the T22 Pro. It's a solid machine that has a well-built and well-thought-out frame and a very unique and well-thought-out leveling system. It just works really well. My only concern is there won't be robust enough documentation to support a growing user base who are going to be interested in diving into the machine and making modifications of their own. Think3D recently launched a Kickstarter for this printer which failed to meet its goal, and I believe they're planning on having a second launch coming soon. If you're interested in some of the more pro-level features this printer offers, like the silent stepper drivers, dual Z motors, direct drive extruder, or leveling free bed, and you're not afraid to create your own slicer profiles, this machine will probably be a really good fit for you. If you're somebody who's a little bit less comfortable creating their own slicer profiles, I would wait to see how Think3D handles the rollout of the slicer settings for the more widely adopted slicers like Prusa Slicer and Cura. Overall, I think the T22 Pro is a really interesting machine and definitely has a place in the lineup of commercially available FDM 3D printers. If you have any specific questions about this machine, feel free to leave me a comment below and I will be happy to answer. As always, thanks for watching and have fun printing.